Greetings and salutations, you're all very welcome. What about ye? Now, every day, if you turn the news on, you hear reports of how cuts in public spending are impacting on the lives of ordinary people. You therefore presume that every effort would be made by those in power to ensure that no unnecessary spending occurred. Yet, this week we discovered that our Department of Infrastructure has spent £500,000, erecting a seaside barrier on the coastal path at White Abbey, which has destroyed what was once a scenic viewing point overlooking Belfast Lough. Now, this is what the old barrier looked like. And this is what the new one looks like. Can you spot the difference? Running 1,800 feet and standing over 5 feet in height, the new barrier has turned that once beauty spot into an eyesore, much to the chagrin of locals and anyone else who used to take a walk along the shoreline and view across Belfast Lough to Bangor. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, the Department of Infrastructure have explained their reasoning for the chicken wire construction, saying, "Our primary concern is road safety, and while it is regrettable that the view is restricted, the new railings are designed to the required standards, which will provide improved road safety for all road users at this location." There you have it! I thought to myself, there you have it, okay, and you're jumping to presumptions again. You're jumping in there again with both feet until you haven't learnt the reality here. Obviously, this must mean that there is carnage at that spot, that there's been car wrecks and bus wrecks and God knows people wrecks. Hang on. The reality is that at that particular location, there's not been one. Do you hear me here? Not one recorded accident at that spot ever. Not since records were kept in Latin. But the department, it's went on to explain further. Give him time. As this parapet is adjacent to a cycleway shared use path, current standards require that the height of the parapet is a minimum of 4 feet 11 inches to accommodate cyclists who sit at a higher level. Well, there you have it again, Jake. You jumped in again. It's the cyclists. It's them cyclist bastards who have done it again. Hold on, I'm a cyclist. And I have ridden along that path. I don't know how many times, and not once, do you hear me? Not once have I felt in danger of toppling off my bike into the sea. So there's only one explanation. There's only one explanation. There must be cyclists, right, who are deliberately riding off the path into the sea. Now, if this is the case, I would make a strong argument that their demise is an example of Darwinian selection in operation. And no barrier should be erected to hinder this evolutionary process. But if the Department of Infrastructure decide otherwise, then common sense would dictate that they must follow that up and now fence off the hundreds of miles of other roadways and pathways adjacent to our coastline. Some chance. $500,000's cost them for 1,800 feet. You understand what I'm saying here? Let's just wind this back here. Let's be clear about what's happened, right? Some paper-pushing prick in the Department of Infrastructure decided to ignore common sense and instead follow to the letter, blindly, Section 377 of the requirements for road restraint systems, as last issued in January 2021. And in doing so, not only have they destroyed a beautiful scenic viewing point, but they've wasted over £500,000 of public money. Nay, whoever this moron is, well, as is common practice within the civil service, they should face immediate promotion. And in doing so, cancel out any possibility of them inflicting further damage onto our society. Push them upstairs. Just push them upstairs, please. Summer has arrived. Well, at least for a week. A week it's arrived. That happened last year. I remember this last year here. I remember summer came around this time last year for a week, and then that was it. That was it. We were straight back in the autumn. And I suspect that might be what's happening now. But as always, the unusual climatic event of a sun irradiating heat was greeted by locals in a traditional fashion, with them, with wanton abandon, stripping off all clothing to the waist while walking down the streets. Nay, exposing skin that is so white, skin that has never seen sunlight for decades. This skin is so white, car drivers need to put sunglasses on to block the glare. Because the reality is, for 51 weeks of the year, in our wee part of the world, there is no direct correlation between sun and heat. Now, it sounds counterintuitive, but we have cold sunshine. Yes, it's best demonstrated by the many tourists who fall foul of this conundrum, right? You can see them, you know, they'll waken up in their hotel rooms of a morning and they pull their curtains back and there they see the glaring sun. And in their innocence, they presume to their cost that this corresponds with warmth. Tragically, they dress accordingly, sauntering out in t-shirts and shorts and set off on their day's sightseeing, only to run back into the hotel to change into thermals, having suffered the first signs of hypothermia just a matter of yards from the front of their hotels. At least there's an excuse for tourists. Do you know this, right? There's an excuse for tourists due to their ignorance of our climate. What's always baffled me is the insane behaviour of locals who should know better when faced with a hot sun. You see, we have not evolved, especially me, we have not evolved to survive the sun's deadly rays. You know what I mean? Beneath this grey beard here lurks the heart of a ginger. All my life, I was a ginger. And being a ginger, I know the sun is not my friend. Believe it or not, I am one of the few gingers still alive who predates sunblock. Oh yeah, as a child, I would be thrown out into the deadly rays to play outside. That's when children used to play outside. We're forced outside. We're thrown out in the morning, out into the deadly rays of the sun. And I would return home in the afternoon with my sunburned skin falling off me in sheets. Now, the cure for this, of course, was back in the day, your mother would grab you and she'd lather you down in a coat of a concoction called chamomile lotion. Now, this was very unusual stuff. It had the unusual property of being liquid, right, when it was rubbed on. But upon contact with burned skin, it immediately turned into a cement-like substance that would crack and stick into your already inflamed skin. How I managed to survive to this age is a mystery. What isn't a mystery is that as soon as I reached an age of reason where I could buy sunblock for myself, I was asking for the strongest available. Like, I remember the first time I went into the chemist's, I remember asking, he showed me a factor 50. And I said, Mister, is that the strongest you have? To which he replied, well, son, you could always try an anorak. Funny wee man. He's a funny, chemists were funny back in the day. But he had a point. Gingers don't get suntans. The best we get is our melanomas join up. Nay, if that shocked you, good. It was intended to. As I am a patron of Cancer Focus NI, and each year, each summer, I try to remind people here that while a suntan lasts a few weeks, skin cancer lasts a lifetime. So I don't want to impinge on your fun, right? Enjoy the weather, but please wear a hat and put on sunblock, because doing so you'll see another summer. Finally, talking to my Cancer Focus NI, why not join me for Cancer Focus Waggy Woodland Walk, where dog-related products will be on sale, and I will be judging, would you believe, a doggy beauty contest. Now, of course, all us doggy owners know there's no such thing as an ugly dog. They're all beautiful. So there will be loads of different prizes for dogs and their unique characteristics. All proceeds will be going to Cancer Focus NI and to support their outstanding work in helping patients in Northern Ireland undergoing treatment. In the surreal world of Donald Duck. Sorry, no. Donald Trump. Sorry, I always get them mixed up. I always get Trumpy and Ducky mixed up. It's getting harder to tell them apart as time goes on. Well, believe it or not, the Donald is now threatening to ban American music legend Bruce Springsteen from entering the country after the rock god criticised the Donald during a concert in the UK. This is what old Bruce said about the Donald.
The mighty E Street Band is here tonight to call upon the righteous power of art, of music, of rock and roll in dangerous times. In my home, the America I love, the America I've written about, that has been a beacon of hope and liberty for 250 years, is currently in the hands of a corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous administration. Tonight, we ask all who believe in democracy and the best of our American experience to rise with us, raise your voices against authoritarianism, and let freedom reign. This is land of hope and dreams.
Well, as you can imagine, this didn't go down well with the president, who reacted saying, I see, let me just put this up here in case I get it wrong. Right? I see the highly overrated Bruce Springsteen goes to a foreign country to speak badly about the President of the United States. Donald was on a rant. Donald went on. Never liked him. Never liked his music or his radical left politics. And importantly, he's not a talented guy, just a pushy, obnoxious jerk who fervently supported crooked Joe Biden and mentally incompetent fool and our worst ever president who came close to destroying our country. If I wasn't elected, it would have been gone by now. A lot would have said, good riddance, Donald, compared to what you're doing. Anyway. Now, there's a couple of details here I'd like to clarify for a start, right? If the Donald genuinely never rated Springsteen's music, why then did he play Born in the USA during his first election campaign until Springsteen banned him from using it? It's strange, that, isn't it? But Donald wasn't finished in his attack on Bruce. He described him as this dried out prune of a rocker. His skin is all atrophied. Nay. Mate, hold on here. Seriously. Donald, you have the gall to comment on another person's skin when you look like this? That's like his ma sent him out into the burning sun and didn't take him in for a month. But as with all bullies, Trump ended with a threat. He said he ought to keep his mouth shut until he gets back into the country. That's just standard fare. Then we'll all see how it goes for him. And there you have it. A megalomaniacal right-wing thug has just threatened a musical legend for speaking his mind. Yet again, I return to the definition of the USA as land of the free and home of the brave. Here's the bottom line here, people. Shouldn't overreact to this because the truth is, Springsteen's music will be played much longer. After the political glitch that is Trump is long forgotten. He will be a joke. That's all Trump will be in the future. Hopefully a joke, a bad joke. Bad memory, bad smell, bad joke. But everybody will be playing Brucey's music forever. Or maybe not. Maybe no, who knows? You know what I mean? It's getting that stage. Who knows? I tell you, there may be camps in America full of Springsteen and actors and musicians and other musicians and artists. It'd be a great camp to go to. I wouldn't mind staying a wee bit of time in a place like that there. Meet all your heroes. You'd meet all your heroes, like, wouldn't you? It's a mad world.
You'll do nothing. You hear me? You'll do nothing.